Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. If you are new to my channel, I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you are a regular, I'm so happy to see you back. I have a what I hope is going to be a very informative video for you. I am going to be ranking my concealers. So this is really, I think, the first time I've ever done a ranking video, and I thought, you know what? I've got quite a bit of these, 9 to be exact. I wish I had one more for the full 10, but, and you know, I just figure right now, people are on a low buy. That's what I'm hearing. A lot of what y'all have commented on my last couple of videos is that you're on a low buy, and I've heard that outside too of my videos. Just a lot of people are really being more selective what they spend their money on, just hoarding things like makeup, you know, and so hopefully this is informative for you so that the next time you are in the market for a concealer, you kind of know what each one does and how I rate them as far as my skin type, skin tone, cost, all of that good stuff. So if you're interested in seeing how I rank my 9 concealers, then just stay tuned. Alright guys, before we kick this off, I'm just going to give you my regular little request that if you do, at the end of this video, enjoy what you saw, if it helped you out in any way, shape, or form, that you would give it a thumbs up. The thumbs up really does help a YouTuber out more ways than I can say, so please do that if you wouldn't mind. Just takes a quick second. And if you are new to my channel, I really do hope you like what you see and that you would consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on this journey through 2020. I don't know what the makeup industry has for us. I don't even know, you know, what direction I'm going to take. I'm trying to be good and kind of do a lower buy. I don't know if a low buy, but a lower buy. And so I kind of want to take you on that journey with me as well and still bring y'all what you're used to as far as the reviews, the dazzled or disappointed, that kind of thing. So definitely just a sincere request to subscribe if you like what you see. Okay guys, so now it's time to go through all these bad boys. I have 9 concealers, all of which I use very regularly. I am very true to, I don't like neglecting products, especially when it's as expensive as a concealer, and there's some drugstore in here as well. So if you are opposed to the high end, or if you only ever buy drugstore, there are some options in here, and that'll be throughout this ranking as well. But I do like to rotate them out because I like to get use out of all of them. I paid good money for them, and I don't know about y'all, I'm sure it's true for each and every one of you, I work hard for my money. And so truly, you know, we work hard, and if you buy something and you've spent that money, you want to get use out of it. So that being said, we're going to start off with the least ranked. So just to clarify, doesn't mean I hate it if it's least ranked. We'll go over into those details, but obviously it's my least ranked for a reason. So let's go ahead and start with concealer number 9. So this is going to be the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. Some of y'all, as I'm going through this, you might be surprised at how I'm ranking them, just because you might say, well, that's number 1 on my list. Well, that's the thing about different people, different skin tones, different skin types, is that different things work for different people. This one definitely is number 9 for me. Now, just so that you know, I am not good about sometimes just thinking off the top of my head, so I have made quite a few notes as to why, like my pros and cons. So if you see me looking down, that is why. I just sat down the other day and just kind of put all my thoughts on paper as to why. So first off, I'm just going to tell you guys that the main reason I dislike this, one of the main reasons, and this truly is, this is a concealer that I do kind of dislike. Now I do, again, use it because it was expensive. It was $30 and I'm trying to get use out of it. I can't stand the applicator on this. It's like a little ball. I don't even know how else to describe it to you, but it is the most, for me, uncomfortable applicator of life. It's just not a good way to get into the crevice in there, into the little nooks and crannies, and I'm not a fan. So the next reason that it's not just one of my faves is I don't find the coverage to be all that great. Now, people rave about the foundation, and I'm assuming people love the concealer for the same reason. I don't know. I just don't find that the coverage is kind of what I'm looking for. Now, just so that you know, as we go through these, I don't have the darkest under eye circles. I can pretty much cover it with most concealers. There are some out there that just, I still see some right here in the middle. So I don't have the deepest of under eye circles. I also don't have very light under eye circles. I kind of am in between, where it's, you know, I mean, kind of a 50-50 chance that it's gonna cover my under eye circles. And this is one of the ones that really doesn't go all the way. I have to double up, like I have to layer this to really get it to cover. So the next thing about this concealer is the shade. So there are some lines of concealer that I just really struggle to find my correct shade. Foundations I'm pretty good at. Now there are some brands that just don't lean very neutral undertone. They're very yellow or very pink, and I just find this to be one of them. Now granted, this is a neutral shade. It's N Light 2. It is still very yellow. More yellow than I would want. So let me give you a quick swatch. I'm going to try and go thick on the swatch so that you can see what I mean, but this is what that one looks like. It's just not my cup of tea when it comes to undertone. It's supposed to be neutral and I find it to be very yellow. So not my favorite, and that's why it's number 9. Number 8, you guys. This is really going to shock you because you know I am a fan of this brand. And it is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Concealer. I know, shocking. What? So one thing, I do love the packaging of this. It's like the little baby version of the foundation, and I do like that they made that match. I think that's super cute. One thing I love about Fenty, and the concealer is no exception, is they make it so easy for you to find your shade. Everything ties in. So for example, the foundations, I found it so easy to pick based on the description. Easy peasy. I love that. When they came out with the concealers, same thing. When they came out with their powders, basically they said if you are in the foundation, if you're from shade this to this is your powder. So easy, and it takes the guesswork out of it, which is a lot of what we need. I mean, there's nothing worse than having to kind of guesstimate which one you need, and then you get it and you're like, okay, now I gotta make a trip back, or I gotta ship this back, or whatever the case may be. Anyways, love the packaging. I also very much like the doe foot. It's very smooth. It's very like flat. It's kind of tapered, which is kind of nice. I hope you can see that, but it is very, very easy to use. It's very flexible, and I like that. Obviously, shade range, she has probably the most extensive shade range out of any brand, and at this point, if she doesn't, she's the one who started the extensive shade range. So I know that she has much respect for that, and granted, I don't know, I claim ignorance when it comes to knowing like really how many different skin tones are out there, undertones. I really do claim an ignorance, so I wouldn't know, like, okay, if somebody releases 20 shades versus 40 shades, obviously I know, wow, 40 means it's going to fit more people, but I wouldn't have known that it's that extensive, and so I love that there's something for everybody. But what I'm going to tell you is that this one doesn't cover near as well as I would like. The shade fits me beautifully. I love the applicator, so it's a bummer that it's not the coverage I really need. I still get the peek through of the dark circle, the little purple shining through. This is another one. I have to layer 2 or 3 times if I really want to try and cover up, and at that point it starts getting a little cakey. Now that being said, the formula is beautiful to where if you just have to go in with 1 layer, it's not cakey at all. It's easy to blend, but it's just really number 8 for the reason that it doesn't cover what I need it to cover. So that is what you're looking at right there. For reference, in case you are similar to my skin tone, which is a light to light medium neutral, this is shade 230. So that's number 8 on my list. Number 7, you guys, is a drugstore brand concealer, and this is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. Now, I do love this concealer. It's great. As far as coverage, it's fantastic. I feel like the Camo, this lineup, just has an amazing coverage, and for the cost, it's $6. You really can't get much better than that. Now, there's a couple of gripes that I have which make it number 7. One is the shade range. Speaking of, we just talked about that. I struggled to find my shade in this, and the thing about it is there was no perfect shade for me. It was either I had to go 1 too light or 1 too deep. And when you're talking about your under eyes, you definitely don't want to go too deep. It makes you look older. So definitely want to go a little bit lighter if you need to. I like for my concealer to kind of match my foundation. I'm not the one that likes to really brighten under my eyes, but I definitely don't want it to be deeper. And this is just a little too light. They don't have one that's perfect for me. And this is in the shade Light Beige. And so this very much reminded me of Shape Tape in the sense that like there's so much product in there that the little part right here gets very goopy and dry and just a ton of product. Anyways, this does have a Shape Tape type applicator. It's very, very large. So if you are a fan of that, then you know that, you know, this has it, and $6. Now, this is the regular Camo concealer. It's not the hydrating. They have since come out with a hydrating. So this one is a little bit more, I won't say it's drying, but it's definitely not hydrating or moisturizing. Like my under eyes don't look refreshed when I put this on. The coverage, fantastic, but just the look of it, you know, it's not my not my least favorite, not my most favorite. So this is what it looks like. So if you are in need of a budget-friendly concealer that covers under eye, that's very comparable, quite frankly, to Shape Tape, then this is right up your alley. But that is number 7 for me. Number 6, you guys, and hold on, let's take a step back because I just realized I forgot to tell y'all. The Fenty Pro Filt'r comes with, so okay, I'm sorry, I'm doing this so backwards, but Cover FX has 0.33 fluid ounces for $30. The Fenty Pro Filt'r 0.27 fluid ounces for $26. And the e.l.f. has 0.2 fluid ounces for $6, which it looks like more than 2 fluid ounces, 0.2, but that's what it says. So moving on to number 6, and that's the Huda Overachiever Concealer. I am a huge Huda Beauty fan. There is rarely something that is released that disappoints me, which I feel like a lot of her products are either hated or loved, hit or miss. And for me, most of it is a hit, quite frankly. Things that people just hate, I end up loving. Anyways, this is a concealer that receives very mixed reviews. It's very, very thick. So the reason that it is number 6, even though, you know, like I just said, I love most of her products. And this really is no exception. I very much like this concealer. For purposes of ranking though, there's others I like better. So let me go through the cons, and that's that it's very, very thick. It takes a learning curve, quite frankly, to figure out how to use this. So it takes 2, 3, 4 times of kind of trial and error to figure out how much you need to use of this product. And there is a specific method to use it, and that is putting dots. You're really not supposed to go in like the normal, you know, coloring it on your face. It's supposed to be dots, and she explained that when she first released this, because that's the best way to get the blend. But a lot of people don't want to have to go through special steps, and I understand that, to be able to have a product work. They want to be able to just use it the way they're used to using something. So that really is the biggest con, is that it's very thick and you have to know how much to use. It's also very hydrating looking. It's very thick feeling. It doesn't feel like fresh and like, oh, I don't have anything under my eyes. No, it's very thick feeling and you can feel it under your eyes. I definitely set this because if not, I do get the creasing. It's so thick and so hydrating that you really do start getting the lines if you don't set it. But for me, that's not a deal breaker because powder sets it all. Now, I'm gonna tell you the best thing about this concealer is the applicator. It is a metal tip applicator, and every time I use it, it is so cold to the touch that it gives my under eyes such a refreshing feeling, like it wakes them up. And I am not a morning person. I'm not a morning person, and I do my makeup very early in the morning. So definitely a pro. When I put this on, I'm like, oh, it's so cooling. I almost just want to rub the applicator under my eye. And that to me is the best part of this concealer. I will tell you the coverage is very, very good. But again, you pay the cost with that in the sense that it's very, very thick. So number 6 on my list, it's 0.34 fluid ounces for $30. Number 5, you guys, and maybe some of y'all are going to be surprised that this is not higher on my list, but it is a cult favorite, and it is the Tarte Shape Tape. I think this is probably on everybody's ranking list. Anyways, so this concealer is, I feel like it does live up to the hype. It's everything everybody says about it. I've had mine for quite some time now. Now, when I first purchased it a long time ago when it first came out, I got the light shade. That ended up being way too light. I do not like them that light. So I ended up passing that one on to my mom, and I picked up the light medium, and I've had this one for quite some time. So this particular one is very similar to the e.l.f. Camo Concealer that I just showed you. So this is even worse as far as like the excess product in here, as far as it being so dirty and goopy out there. I mean, every time I try to stuff the wand back in, like product comes out, and that's why it looks so gross. Anyways. The applicator, again, just as I mentioned, is very, very large. So if you like to cover a lot of territory, then this one is right up your alley. I mean, there's nothing I have to say about this that you don't already know. It is super great coverage. I don't have to double layer. One layer is enough. It's pretty easy for me to blend. I don't go in with an excess of product because I don't like how it looks as far as like blending and stuff. It makes it more difficult. I go in with like a little bit, and I don't even mean like just one dot. I go in with a little bit and then I blend it out, and that's usually good to go. I don't think this is like a super hydrating look under the eyes, but it's not drying either. And so, I mean, it kind of is just neither here nor there when it comes to that, which is fine. I mean, as long as it doesn't dry out my under eyes, I am good to go. So again, this is the light medium shade. I am a light to light medium neutral skin tone, and this one works just fine. It's actually what I'm wearing on my under eyes today. So number 5 for my ranking, and it is, just for reference, 0.338 fluid ounces, and darn it, I didn't write down the price point, but it's probably around $30. Number 4 is another drugstore concealer, and it's one that I didn't anticipate loving as much as I did, and it's the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. I'm confused whether they still make this or not, because I was trying to look it up on Ulta's site so that I could get you price point and volume of product in here, and I could not for the life of me find it. Now granted, I didn't check Walmart and those other sites, but it just surprised me about that, and I did get mine on sale from my local grocery store. So I'm like, do they even still make this? It wasn't that long ago that I bought it. This is such a great concealer. Now, I will tell you, the shade range, I'm more familiar with Maybelline shade range, so CoverGirl is kind of new territory for me. It was hard to pick out a shade, but this is very much like the Tarte Shape Tape and the Camo Concealer. It's got the thick, chunky little tube, and it's got the large. I feel like everyone's getting on the bandwagon of these large applicators. Apparently, everyone seems to like these. So that is what that one looks like. This one is just, I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's because I was pleasantly surprised that this ranks so high on my list, but I find myself reaching for it quite often. It's easy to use, easy to blend, and gives me an amazing amount of coverage. And so I very much like it as far as shade range, though it was hard to pick. I was in the store probably for like 15 minutes. I'm like, is it this one? Is it this one? And then I'll get on my phone and I'm like trying to find a website that has the undertones listed with the names so that I know. But I ended up doing not too bad on this. It's not too light, and it's yet not too deep. It's really the perfect shade match for me, even though in the tube, I'm like, this looks kind of light. Anyways, not so much. But this is what it looks like, and again, I just, for the price point, this is great, great coverage. And quite frankly, that's pretty much why this one beats out Shape Tape for me, because it does what Shape Tape does. Let me rephrase. I think Shape Tape is slightly more coverage, which if you have deeper circles than I, that's probably better for you. But given the circles I have, the under eye dark circles I have, this does a great job. And for the price point, again, I can't complain, and this ranks high on my list. I want to say I paid about $8 for it, and I'm going to assume it's about the same volume as the e.l.f., which is 0.2 fluid ounces, so I don't know that for sure. I'm just kind of throwing a guess out there, but that is number 4. Number 3, guys, is Urban Decay Stay Naked. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. This is such I love the foundation so much that I knew then I needed to pick this up. And if you watched my Disney Springs Sephora haul from late last year, this is one of the items I picked up, and I have never looked back. I love this concealer so much. So first off, I love, again, just like Fenty, I love that they kind of paired the packaging to the concealer very similar or almost identical to the packaging of the foundation. That foundation is one of my very favorites, and I included it in my 2019 favorites because it's so amazing. It's so lightweight, but gives me great coverage. It still looks kind of natural, and that stands true of the concealer as well. For reference, I'm in the shade, well, I picked 30NN because I incorrectly picked. I don't know what I was thinking. my shade in the foundation is 40 NN, and I wish I would have gone with that. So this is a little light, but I make it work, and honestly, it doesn't hinder me to not want to use this. The best thing, quite frankly, about this concealer is the applicator. It's not like any applicator you've ever used before, at least not I've ever used. It's like a little foot. I hope you can see that. It's like a little foot. It kind of goes like this, and it's the most flexible wand I have ever come across. So I'm hoping that you can see like how bendy this is. It's so easy. I love it, and it's like the way it is, it gets all up in there and it's perfect. It's not like any other applicator I have, and that's one reason that this is my favorite. So the next thing is the coverage. That's an ugly swatch when I was trying to test that out for you, so let me give you this. The coverage is sensational for the thin consistency that is this concealer. It really does blow my mind. So that's what that one looks like right there. Again, this is the shade 30 NN. It's a little light for me. I wish I'd have gone with 40 NN, which is my foundation shade, but that is totally fine. This just covers, it smooths, it almost just, you know how our under eyes can end up looking a little crepey? And most concealers I feel like will do that. I mean, that's just, our under eyes are a little bit more wrinkly than the rest of our face. This concealer just, I feel like it just smooths everything out and is so easy to blend. Again, the feeling, so lightweight for such great coverage. I love this. And the only reason this isn't higher on the list is because there's actually a couple I like even more, but super love this concealer. For reference, you guys, that was 0.35 fluid ounces for $29. Next, it's time for number 2. And it's also a drugstore concealer, which I'm actually very happy to share with you because I'm loving the fact that I'm loving a cheap drugstore concealer. And I know it's a good option for y'all because we're all looking to spend less money. And it's also by e.l.f. and it's actually the Hydrating Camo Concealer. It's the one I mentioned earlier. This, you guys, blew my mind. So if you are a fan of the regular camo concealer but you've still been hoping for something a little bit more hydrating, wowzers, look no further, you guys. So this shade is so perfect for me. It's in the shade Light Sand, and it's the light neutral shade, and I was able to find that online, unlike the regular camo concealer. They've added the undertones to the other one online as well, I don't know, but they've added undertones for this, made it so easy to pick up in store. This is the same price point as the other one, so it's $6, and it covers beautifully, hydrates so lovely to the point where I don't even want to set it with a powder because it just looks so great. It's got the same wand as those other ones I showed you, as the other camo, the CoverGirl, the Shape Tape. So definitely nothing new there, but again, they've kept it the same, which I know a lot of people will appreciate. And it's just, I don't know. So it's a little bit on the thicker side, but not anything near to what like the Huda is. And it just covers so beautifully. I really did not, I expected to very much like this. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. And truly and honestly, for the price point, for the coverage, and for the perfect shade for me, this made it number 2. I cannot get over that this is as good or better than a lot of the high-end concealers that you'll find at Sephora and Ulta. I mean, it's just one of those things where, again, like I've said with like ColourPop and stuff, I'm like, how are we paying so much for the high-end palettes when there are such budget-friendly palettes out there? Anyways, so I say the same thing about this. How is it that we pay sometimes like $30 for a concealer when there is a $6 option that does just as good or better of a job? Because obviously I like it more than a lot of the high-end ones I've just showed y'all. So again, $6, and it is 0.2 fluid ounces. This is number 2. It's time for number 1. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I truly don't think any other concealer is ever going to match this for me. This is, I mean, by far, hands down, number 1. And again, I don't see it getting knocked off that list anytime soon. It has been my favorite for a very long time, and if you've watched my videos for a very long time, then you probably already knew that this was coming as number 1. So first off, you guys, it is, let me give you the deets, it's half a fluid ounce. It's more volume than any of the concealers we've gone through. Half a fluid ounce, that's crazy. That's half the size of a foundation bottle. And it's $29. So basically the same price point as all of the other high ends, but so much more product. So that is that. Second of all, the shade, and this is one reason I love the foundation as well. The shade is so perfect for me. There's nothing I have found that in dealing with shade that I have loved more. This makes me look so healthy. Same again with the Born This Way foundation. Something about it, it just makes me look so healthy. It adds color to my face. And this is natural beige. So it is the light neutral shade, but it doesn't look, so here's the thing about a lot of light neutral foundations. Yes, they're light and they're neutral, but they almost still make you look a little too pasty white. And the thing about this is it has some touch of color to where it just brings out the life. And this is no exception. The hydration to this is unreal. It makes my under eyes look so darn healthy that I just can't get over it. To the point, I'm not even joking, where I have used this as foundation. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it actually looks really nice. And I will tell you, I use a beauty blender when I do that because it is obviously thick, and the beauty blender helps even it out, helps kind of thin it out. And I don't go in with a lot. I will dot just a few dots all over my face, and it gives me the most beautiful wash of coverage. I can't even explain it to you. And then the applicator, it's not as thick as you would expect. It looks like a very chunky bottle. It's not like the e.l.f. or the Tarte Shape Tape. It's kind of in between a skinny and a thick one, and it's just, I mean, it's pretty easy to use. There's nothing super out of the ordinary or extraordinary about the applicator. That's okay, I don't care. I just love this foundation. I don't even think there's enough time in the day to tell you how much I love it. I really, really do. And quite frankly, this is the one that I reach for the most, but again, I rotate out with my others, and I've gotten to where I probably have like a fourth left, and I've been lately using it a little more sparingly because I don't have to go buy another, but I will. This is so great, you guys, and if you don't mind a very hydrating under eye, I would highly suggest you check that one out. It's amazing, and I get it, it's $29, so it's on the high price point. But this has lasted me so long, and the coverage is beyond compare. Number 1, hands down. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this ranking video. Hopefully you found it helpful, easy to follow, and hopefully there were some tidbits that kind of maybe, I don't know, suited you to where you're like, now I know which concealer I'm gonna get next. Thank you so much again for watching, for stopping by. Before I let you go, I just want to give you a quick verse of the day in an effort to just tell you that I love you so much and that Jesus loves you so much too. I don't know what point in your life you are, but I just wanted to impart that encouragement just because, you know, life is life and we're all at different stages of life. And while some of us may be going through great times, others may not so much. And we just need to realize that. So today's comes from Romans 12:12, and it says, "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." All right, my friends, thank you again for watching, and I'm going to see you very soon in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.